and welcome back to another episode of the Glow Up Guide Podcast. It is so close to the end of this year, and I felt like it was a good time to talk about our strategies for staying motivated and finishing off this year strong. We want to be proud of what we have accomplished by the time New Year's rolls around, and now is not the time to start slacking off, even though it is getting colder. I feel like now that it's getting colder out, and we're slowly heading into the more wintry, slumpy months of the year, we kind of start to fall into that winter slump, and we start to lose our motivation. But now is a very bad time to do that. So we're talking about ways that we can make sure we stay motivated and keep kicking butt at our goals. Before moving on, let's do one thing we're grateful for and one thing we're happy about. Let's start with the week. And actually, before we do that, let's handle our live updates and our podcast updates. So for our podcast updates, currently I'm at about 1,900 plays, which is really, really close to 200, or no, 2,000. And I'm really hoping I can hit 2,000 by the end of the year. I actually think that's a very achievable goal, and it'll probably happen. So you guys keep helping me out. Share this podcast, listen to it, share with everyone you know that motivators better their lives. And yeah, hopefully we can get to 2,000 by the end of the year. Okay, and life updates. Let's see. My winter track tryouts were. They were week before last, so that was kind of scary. Anyways, so for track, I did mid-distance. I don't really know which one I tried out for, actually, which is kind of concerning, but that's besides the point. So my tryouts went terribly, actually. I would have gotten cut if they were doing cuts, but for girls' distance, because there were only 11 of us, and they were trying to keep whoever they could, so they just decided no cuts. So yeah, but anyways, if they were doing cuts, I definitely would have gotten cut. Because I didn't meet these time marks or whatever on my 1K, 1,000 meters or a little over half mile. I got 4 minutes and 51 seconds. Which if any of you run, I know running is getting to be a more and more popular sport these days. I've seen a lot of people start running on social media and stuff. So I know that's been a thing. And to any of you who do know running, that is actually very terrible. I'm an entire minute off of where I should be. So that's not good. And then my mile, or 1,600 meters, depending on where you are, that was 7 minutes and 56 seconds. I told myself before that if I ran at 8, I was probably going to quit. Because, what am I doing trying to run distance if I'm running more than an 8-minute mile? So, yeah, I ran 7:56, which is very close to me quitting. But, that's besides the point. Anyways, so I finished dead last both times. The less embarrassing part was that I practically tied with this one girl, so that made the whole thing better. School's been hell as always, but I got a 9. But I had 4 tests this past week, and on science I got 100, on math I got a 95, on English I got a 95, and then on history I got 100. So that's good. My school did this movie night thing, and we watched Home Alone, and this was last Thursday. I went with a few of my friends, so it was actually really fun. What else has happened? Yesterday. So I signed me and my friends up for this volunteering thing at a high school near us, and we assembled meals for hungry children in the county, and that was actually really fun. Yeah, it was very fun, and me and my friends alone, we assembled at least 450 meals. I don't know, it was 400 and something, 470 something, yeah, which is a lot of kids fed, so I'm very proud of us. And then yesterday, me and my friends also did a Friendsgiving. It was very fun. I brought mac and cheese, and we had food, and it was a great time. We definitely did not get lost in the woods. There's this woods behind my friend's house, and we just went exploring, and me and my other friend, we got lost. But yeah, other than that, it was great. Anyways, and then moving on to one thing we're grateful for and one thing we're happy about. So we're good the week. One thing I'm grateful for is having access to food and not having to worry about where my next meal comes from. That's something that's kind of inspired by yesterday, but it's scary to think about how many people, they don't know where their next meal comes from, and that's something I have never once in my life had to worry about, so I'm very grateful for that. And then one thing I'm happy about, Thanksgiving break is this week. Thank God. I kind of needed that. Anyways, so I pretty much only have to do one actual school day this week, which doesn't even really count for a school day because of my classes. Tomorrow I'm missing all my important classes for a university trip, but it'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll figure it out. I have all break to catch up on the work, so yeah. And then Tuesday doesn't really count for nothing, and the only semi-important class I have is Spanish. I mean, we don't really learn anything in that class because of my teacher, but I don't think she's going to try and teach us stuff before the break because, well, we're teenagers. We're going to forget, so, yeah. Anyways, and I'm very glad that we get a long weekend because technically with Thanksgiving break, it's like a 5-day weekend. And then after that, it's my birthday. I mean, it's kind of sucks that I have to come back to school like the day of my birthday. Like, why'd I have to fall on a Monday? But it does. Anyways, my birthday's exciting, so I'm happy about that. Our book of the week, again, do not have one. I don't have a time to read. Like, I genuinely don't. So that's fun. Anyways, so going to the actual episode. First thing, before we're talking about literally anything else, is like a little bit of a tough love moment that I think we all need. Sure, we have all these like goals and hopes and wishes and dreams. We have all these things that we want for ourselves, and that's amazing. But a lot of us, we also tend to do nothing about these things. We just keep wishing to be someone better, and that someone better is already inside of you, waiting for you to get your act together and pull her out, waiting for you to unleash your full potential upon the world. The real thing is, no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to do it all for you. Your dream self won't just fall down from out of the damn sky. There is a crap ton of work you have to do to make that happen. No fairy godmother is going to show up and be like, transformation time. As much as I do wish that would happen, it won't. And that's the thing too. No amount of hoping and wishing will get you anywhere in life. It just won't. And the only thing that will get you anywhere closer to your goals is actually doing the things that you need to in order to achieve them. Like, you have got to push yourself out of your comfort zone because guess what? There is no growth in the comfort zone and no comfort in the growth zone. Growth is uncomfortable and scary, but eventually that growth, that change, it becomes your new normal. Waking up early is a great example. There are an insane amount of people that try to do that and epically fail because they won't get out of their comfort zone. Their comfort zone is staying in bed and sleeping in an extra few hours. They won't push themselves to get out of bed and do hard things, and no one will make them. No one's going to come in their bedroom at 5 a.m. and drag them out of bed. No fairy godmother is going to help you. That's for Cinderella. But, like, you have got to be different. Push yourself. You are the only one that can save yourself. You are the only one that can make you do hard things because no changes are necessary. Pushing yourself is necessary. It's hard and scary, sure. That's exactly the point. You're certainly not going to get anywhere by scrolling and sleeping. That's not the way to go. So save yourself, get out of bed, do the workout, clean your house, reach for some fruit instead of chocolate, go for a run or walk, book those appointments, get those things done, and be the person of your dreams. No one is going to pop up and be willing to do it for you because that is on you. It's all a choice. So what choice are you going to make? So hopefully that little rant built up like some momentum and motivation before we get into the rest of the episode. The first step in motivating ourselves to stay strong and push through the last little over a month of the year is reframing and refocusing. A little mindset shift and reminders. The first is revising your why. You set these goals at the beginning of the year with some intention or some reason as to why. Revisit those reasons. What was the point, and what inspired you to set these goals? Let's say you wanted to start waking up earlier. Why'd you say that? For me, I wanted to work on waking up earlier because I love the peace and quiet of early mornings when no one else is awake. I wanted more time to get ready and to do my things, and I wanted to feel more energized throughout the day. Plus, like, it's common knowledge that the most successful people always start their days off really early. So, list the reasons or benefits that inspired you to set whatever goal it may be in the first place. Thinking about your why can reignite your passion and desire to work your butt off on these goals. The next thing is to reflect and celebrate how far you've already come. It's been 10 and a half months since the start of 2025. We have all done so much and accomplished so much and lived so much already. And there are also probably a lot of things that you do want to accomplish by the end of the year that you have done absolutely nothing towards yet. But the key thing is to not let that discourage you. Focus on the positives, because the positive is always better. Besides, we have all done way more and achieved way more than we haven't in these past 10 months. You may not be exactly where you wanted to be by this time, but that's okay. You're somewhere further than you were at the start of the year, or hopefully you should be. Take a look at how much progress you've already made this year. I guarantee you it's a lot more and a lot better than you thought it was. Always celebrate every single win, no matter how small. Don't discredit your progress by saying it's not big enough to celebrate, because more celebration is always more fun. We also have to think about the goals that we either have not made progress on or are unrealistic to achieve by the end of the year, or they really just aren't relevant anymore. There's probably a few of these ones. If you haven't made progress on a certain goal, start thinking of ways to achieve it. Small, actionable, mini goals are the key. If there's a goal that's unachievable by the end of the year, such as some sort of trip, and it's still something you want for yourself, then start figuring out what you can actually accomplish for this goal by the end of the year. Research flights, book hotels, and find out about things to do in that location for your trip. Do whatever you can by the end of the year because something is always better than nothing. For the goals that just aren't relevant anymore, there's no point. Just cross them off your list because there's no point in wasting any more time or energy on the things that don't matter. We only have hardly a month, and that leaves us with pretty much no time to worry about anything that doesn't matter. Worrying about these goals that genuinely don't matter anymore is a big fat waste of precious time and energy. Visualization is another great strategy that will help you stay motivated towards achieving your goals. Visualize your smashing success so clearly it feels real. Spend a few minutes out of each day or use this strategy whenever you need a quick burst of motivation. I do this a lot whenever I don't want to go on a run. I just imagine myself being a better, stronger, faster runner, and that gets me up and running without much further thought. You will be a much better person when you do whatever it is you need to do rather than the person you will be if you choose not to do it. Final thing. Keep coming back to your reasons and your list of goals and these visualization strategies. Keep coming back to these things whenever you need a burst of motivation. Think about why the next time you want to hit snooze or skip a workout or have a cheat meal. Let that keep you motivated. Phase 2 of staying motivated is breaking down your bigger goals into smaller, much more manageable mini goals. Breaking big tasks down into a bunch of smaller, more manageable ones makes it a lot easier to achieve the overall big goal. It also prevents you from getting super overwhelmed. When you see a really big goal, like going back to school or planning a huge trip or quitting your 9-to-5 job, we freak out and decide not to do it because we just don't know how to start. Starting is very hard. I will say that. Starting is never easy. That's because it's not supposed to be. Starting something new is normally hard. That's good. Hard is growth. You're not getting yourself into something you will inevitably regret later. You're getting yourself into something that you will inevitably love your past self for later on. The overarching goal can make you freak out. So take that big goal and break it down into as many daily or weekly mini goals as possible. Let's take waking up at 6 a.m. daily, for example. Let's say you wake up at 8 in the morning every day right now. Break this goal down into a ridiculous amount of ridiculously easy goals. And that way the whole overall goal becomes so much easier and a lot less overwhelming. Start waking up 5 to 10 minutes earlier each week. That's it. It seems super small, ridiculously early to set that alarm only 5 or 10 minutes earlier. Waking up at 7:55 or 7:50 instead of 8. But that small change, it keeps compounding on itself to get you to your big goal. In 2 weeks, you're waking up 10 to 20 minutes earlier. In 4 weeks, you're waking up 20 to 40 minutes earlier. In 8, you're waking up 40 to 80 minutes earlier. It's super easy to achieve your goals by the end of the year. Or actually, another thing I've heard specific to this goal is waking up just 1 minute earlier each day. It sounds so simple and so freaking easy. Almost pointless. That is exactly the thing. 1 minute a day means 7 minutes earlier a week and 30 minutes earlier in a month. The key is super tiny, 1% improvements to get to your big goal. Do this and you'll be there in no time. The next key tip is prioritizing. There's really no time to focus on any goals that don't actually matter. We only have a month and a half to work with, or hardly a month now. That's practically no time at all, which means we can't afford to waste time on the things that don't actually matter to us. So pick what's most important and stick with it. Don't try to do too much too fast because, again, only a month. Our next phase, phase 3, is planning. Planning is such an important part of achieving your goals because there's a saying, failing to plan is planning to fail. And that's honestly a really true saying because when you choose not to make a plan to achieve your goals, you're basically just saying you're going to fail. Because without no plan, there's no course of action, and no course of action means nothing happens. You're just back at square one. So planning is probably the most important part of achieving your goals because without a plan, what are you going to do? You can't just say you're going to wing it because 99% of the time that just does not end up working out. So you need to create plans to achieve your goals, and a great way to do that is using SMART goals. I have talked about SMART goals plenty of times in the past, but I don't know. For those of you who don't know what SMART goals are, SMART goals, it's an acronym, and they stand for goals that are specific, which means don't be too broad with your goals. Don't just say, I'm going to wake up earlier because that's very broad. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to start waking up at 6 a.m. every single morning. That's a lot more specific, and the more specific your goal is, the more likely you are to achieve it, and actually a lot of studies have found this to be true. And honestly, saying I'm going to wake up earlier, that is very broad, and that sounds a lot harder to do than I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. every day. the more specific your goal is, the better it is for yourself. Next thing, measurable. Measurable goals are goals that you can actually measure the progress of. You want to be able to find some way of tracking your progress with these measurable goals, because progress is great. Tracking your progress is great. For example, when I used to try and drink more water and I was very involved in that, I would use an app. I don't even remember the name of the app, but I would use this app and I would track how much water I drank, and that was actually very motivating because I was just I would get the next one and I would fill up the little bar or whatever with the little glass. So it's very motivating. And also, on the days where you don't have the motivation to do the things you need to in order to achieve your goals, seeing that progress you've already made is very motivating, and seeing how far you've already come will only motivate you to go farther, because at some point bettering yourself just becomes addicting. Anyways, so the SMART goal, what's the next thing? The A stands for achievable. Achievable goals, they need to be realistic things. Obviously you're not gonna start running and magically become freaking Usain Bolt in a month. That's a very drastic example, but you see what I mean. You're not gonna go from waking up at 10 a.m. every day to waking up at 4 in the morning by the end of the year. You might be able to. I highly doubt it, but that's just honestly a very unrealistic goal. The difference. Anyways, and then the R stands for relevant, and relevant goals, those are just, it's quite literally just goals that are relevant. They need to matter to you, and they're not just things you're doing for stupid reasons. I don't really know, but just do the things that matter. Anyways, the T stands for time bound. Time bound, we all have a deadline, and our goal is by the end of the year. Deadlines are so helpful, and they can honestly be so motivating. If I have an essay due in 20 minutes, I'm going to be super locked in and super focused on that. But if it's due in 3 months, I'm not going to think about it until it's actually due. So I feel that's just a student relevant example, though. I don't really worry about things until they're actually due. Not a great mindset to have, but that's what I do anyways. So yeah, anyways, so time bound, keeping deadlines is so useful, and use these deadlines to motivate yourself to keep momentum and achieve your goals. And then this SMART goals acronym is actually very helpful in creating concrete plans to achieve your goals, because you have little steps mapped out with this plan, but obviously there's more things you need to think about. So you really need to develop rock solid plans to achieve your goals by the end of the year. Tell yourself exactly what you're going to do. Okay, exactly what you're going to do. Get as specific as you can, ridiculously specific, okay? It may seem ridiculous, but it is necessary, okay? So let's say you're trying to get into the habit of I don't know. Let's see here. I feel I've used the waking up early example and the trip example way too much here, so let's come up with a new one. So, let's see. A lot of people have the goal of getting in shape or losing a certain amount of weight or building muscle or something, some kind of fitness goal, okay? So you're not just gonna magically just wake up and have your dream body or whatever, right? There's obviously a lot of work that goes into it, and I don't know, whatever workouts you have to do, whatever eating plans or whatever the heck it is, I don't know. So obviously it's not just gonna magically happen. You have to plan, meticulously plan, prepare, and do these things to achieve your dream body, right? You see what I mean. Anyways, so it's really important to create plans, because that's the only way you can achieve your goals. Another big thing, like I already said, you got to break things down, because overwhelm, it can lead to a huge decline in motivation, and without motivation, it just doesn't really work. You need to keep the momentum going. So take your larger goals and break them down to smaller, manageable milestones and little tasks that you can actually achieve by the end of the year, because that will make it so much easier to actually do these things. I feel a lot of us, we say that we're going to do all these things by the end of the year, and then we just get so overwhelmed by it that we just don't do it. Motivation, I know I said this last episode, but when you feel super motivated, you feel you can take on so many things, but that is exactly how you lead yourself to overwhelm, because guess what? Motivation fades very quickly. It fades very quickly. You will be so motivated and be I'm gonna do all these things one day, and then literally 2 hours later, you're just gonna be nope, I'm done. I quit. Not doing this anymore. You're just gonna be bye-bye. So that's why you really need to prevent yourself from getting overwhelmed, and breaking things down into daily and weekly goals, or bi-weekly goals even, if we're going with this timeline, can really help you stay motivated. Like I said, waking up a minute earlier each day. That can lead you, like, it's all about those 1% improvements, okay? And another part of your plans is, like, identifying obstacles, okay? Obstacles are a big part of this. Inevitably, you're going to face some obstacles, things that get in the way of you achieving your goals, okay? That's just a fact of life. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. But what you can do, what is in your control, is ways to get around these obstacles. Like, let's say you're going on a big trip or something, and you're probably not going to be able to work out the entire trip. It doesn't matter, okay? Just, like, try your best to stay on top of the workouts. Like, let's say you're going on a trip. Do your runs then, okay? I don't care. Like, if I were to go on a trip, I would be doing my runs there, okay? Going on a trip is no excuse to slow down, okay? Just keep on going, because life doesn't slow down for you going on a trip, okay? You just have to stop making excuses, because honestly, excuses are useless. Like, they're not going to get you anywhere. So, like, do your workouts on the trip. I don't care if you're going on, like, a fancy vacation, stick to your eating plan or whatever. A lot of people use a trip as an excuse to be like, oh, I'm just going to, like, fall off my diet a little bit, and then they never get back on top of it. Okay, a trip is not, like, okay, you can indulge a little bit because it's a trip. If you miss, like, one workout or something, that's fine, but if you miss, like, a whole month of them, that's not great. Like, that's going to set you back a lot. So make sure to plan for these obstacles, because otherwise you have no course of action for what to do when you are inevitably facing these certain obstacles. So that's really important. And then another big tip for planning for success is scheduling. A lot of people these days are using things like Google Calendar and Notion, or like a physical calendar even. Like, I know I use Google Calendar and Google Keep and all of that, to stay organized. And scheduling things really helps when you achieve your goals. Like, let's say you saw some big meeting or whatever on there. Obviously, you're going to go to that meeting, right? So start putting things like, I always put my workouts in my calendar, and that makes me, like, remember them and make sure that, and that, like, it kind of keeps me accountable in a way. Like, keeping the workouts on the calendar makes sure that I do them, and I feel like that's something that's really, really helpful to me. But I don't know. Scheduling time, because a big excuse, there's such a big excuse, is that I don't have time. Well, then too damn bad. Make the time. Like, I don't want to hear it, okay? Sorry for, like, the bit of a tough love moment, but sometimes tough love is just so motivating. I don't want to hear it. I always hear people saying, oh, I just don't have the time. I was just like, then make the damn time. What the hell is stopping you? Okay? That is not an excuse, okay? Not having time is not an excuse. You always see these people that are doing amazing things with their 24 hours, and you're just like, wow, I wish I could be like that. They're given the same 24 hours. These people you see online and all of that, your friends, maybe even your parents, whatever it is. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. The main difference is how you use it. So stop making excuses and start doing something, because it's just not going to magically happen for you. Like, so many people come complaining to me about being busy, and honestly, what I feel inclined to say is just make the damn time, because literally what's stopping you? So, anyways, that was kind of a bit of a rant, but dedicate specific time slots in your calendars for working on your goals, and treating these sessions like you would treat, I don't know, like a really, really big meeting. That increases the likelihood of following through with it, because if you just see this on your calendar, you're like, oh, I'm supposed to go work out now, that will probably make you do it than just being like, oh, I was supposed to work out today and I forgot. Oopsie daisies, let's try again tomorrow. Nope, don't do that. So just schedule time in your calendar. If you're like a really busy person like me, for example, I would probably forget about like every single workout if it wasn't on my calendar. So don't forget. Putting things in your calendar is something that really helped me. So I don't know, maybe that'll help you stay on track. Our final phase is staying positive and keeping the momentum going. So one big thing you can do is like integrating your goals into your daily routines. Like, you want to get fit or something, or like you have a certain fitness goal, integrate your workouts and your eating habits into your daily routines. Like, just just putting that stuff into your daily routines can really help you adopt a habit of it faster, if that makes any sense, because a large part of our like routines are just a string of habits, okay? It's just habits strung together. Like, everything in your routine is just habits. So integrating these different goals into your daily routine is like integrating new habits into your routine, and that makes it a whole lot easier to do. So that's just something to think about. The next thing is being your biggest cheerleader. Like, you've got to support yourself in all your goals and dreams and decisions, because it's your life. You need to be supportive of yourself, because otherwise, what's the point? The point is to make yourself proud and happy with yourself. Like, no one's opinion matters. You shouldn't be doing these things for the validation of other people. You should be doing it because you want good things for yourself, because you know you deserve them. Be your biggest cheerleader and don't let anything or anyone bring you down with their negativity, because that's definitely not the kind of energy we need in our lives right now. Push it away and choose to support yourself through everything, because in the end, even if everyone leaves, the one person that will stay and be there for you is yourself. The relationship you have with yourself is genuinely the most important relationship you will ever have in your entire life, and that's something I've really come to realize over the last year. I've definitely improved my relationship with myself a lot. So yeah, so many of us have such bad relationships with ourselves that we just don't even know what to do or how to begin healing it. Like, I was there once too. That was me too. It's a long and hard process but in the end, it is all so worth it. It is so freaking worth it when you can be fine with who you are and support yourself and choose yourself through everything. You've got to stick by your own side no matter what happens, no matter how hard it all gets, and no matter who leaves. Even the people you know right now, like, you're like, oh, they would never in 100 million years do that. They might hurt you, and then who do you have left? Learn to rely on yourself to do things. Become more independent, because it's a useful skill. I know my mom would always say, she's like, you're the one I don't have to worry about because I'm responsible and independent. I can do my own shit. Believe in yourself. Don't be mean to yourself and say you can't do this. You can do it. You very much can. I know you can. So pick yourself back up and just do it. No hesitation. Just do it right now, because hesitation gets you nowhere. Okay, there will not be a better time to do these things. So just think about that. Anyways, next thing is, like, avoid multitasking, because that just honestly really kills your momentum. It gets you nowhere. I remember this one time I would, like, multitask assignments all the time. Like, I was doing these two assignments at the same time, or trying to. And it took me about an hour, and by the end of it, I was just like, why did I do that? Because I thought about it, and then I was like, I would have been able to finish that in 30 or 40 minutes if I had just done each assignment separately. And from then on, I stopped multitasking when it came to my schoolwork, because I was just like, that just doesn't really get you anywhere. So multitasking isn't great. It's honestly very counterproductive, because your brain, it doesn't really focus on two things at the same time. That's, like, literally impossible. It's just, like, constantly switching back and forth, and that just really kills your momentum with the different things. Like, it's so much better to stay hyper-focused on one thing and then hyper-focused on the next thing, rather than randomly switching your focus between two different things in the same at the same time. So don't multitask, because it really just kills momentum, and it sucks. So don't do that. Next thing, minimize distractions. Again, distractions also kill your momentum whenever you're doing something like going on your phone in between sets of a workout. That does absolutely nothing, because, like, you're just wasting so much time. And I've done that before. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna take a little break from the workout, and then it's been 3 minutes, and I was like, shit, the break was only supposed to be like 40 seconds. So that's not great. So yeah, from then on, I just stopped, like, going on my phone during my workouts. So yeah, avoid doing that. Like, distractions suck, and they really just kill that momentum with your task. Like, let's say you were super duper focused on a task, and then you took a break, and because, like, I don't know, you took a little scroll break because you saw a little notification on social media, and now it's been 30 minutes, and you're just like, oh shit, where did the time go? So don't do that, because that really just kills your momentum, and it's better to just stay focused on something for as long as you possibly can before getting distracted. So minimize your distractions. Like, put your phone on do not disturb, or really just put it in another room or, like, another level of your house if you can. Like, just do that. So just, like, try your best to minimize distractions. Like, another thing is, like, clutter. Clutter is very distracting. Like, whenever my room is a complete disaster, I genuinely just cannot focus. So making sure your workspace is, like, clean and tidy-ish, or, like, not super duper disastrous can really help. I know I do a lot better when there's only what I need on my desk, and it's clean and clear, and I can find what I need easily, rather than when my desk has 50 million papers all across the span of it, and I genuinely can't focus on anything because the mess is just so bothering and so distracting. So minimize distractions as best as you can. And finally, I know everything I've said, all the tough love moments and all of that, made you really motivated. Hopefully motivated you a lot, but obviously we can't be too harsh on ourselves. Like, I know I just said quit making excuses because you're a sorry sad sap, but, like, I don't know why I worded it like that. Anyways, but yeah, you really can't be too hard on yourself because that really doesn't get you anywhere. Whenever you mess up, just accept that it's okay. Give yourself grace because you're trying your best, or at least you should be trying your best. I remember I was talking to my friend, and she was just like, high school's like so hard, and I feel like I just don't have it together. I'm like, bro, you think I have it together? I freaking don't. Like, this was kind of during my, like, little adjustment period, too. And I was just like, I sure as fuck don't have it together, okay? Like, it's fine. You just have to give yourself grace and accept the fact that you are trying your best. And this was last Thursday. I went with a few of my friends, so it was actually really fun. What else has happened? Oh, grace. Don't be too harsh on yourself. I remember when I was doing that, and honestly, it just sucked. I was just like, oh my god, you should be doing so much better than this. And honestly, I was trying so hard. I was staying up until 11:30, 12, nearly every night working on my homework, and I was genuinely so sleep deprived. And I was just like, you're not doing enough. And then I was like, what more can I do? Okay, I'm already trying so hard, and I'm still drowning. Like, you just have to accept that and give yourself grace. And I mean, now I'm doing a lot better. I'm not staying up until 11 every night to finish my homework, but yeah. Anyways, so just give yourself grace and trust that everything will work out. So that was all I had to say for this episode today. I hope that really helped you. I hope that motivated you and inspired you to like stay motivated. Because that was the entire goal of this episode, and I hope that was your intention when you clicked on this episode. So yeah. Anyways, before we end off today, I have a quote for you guys, and it's from an unknown author. The quote goes, "I didn't get there by wishing for it or hoping for it, but by working for it." Bye, guys. Rate, review, follow, and share this podcast. Please go follow me on Instagram at theglowupguidepodcast. Drink some water, and I love you all.